Hello and welcome again to another episode of Consciousness Rising Zimbabwe and Beyond. I am your host, Tawanyasha, and today we are extremely honored to have with us a fabulous guest, Dr. Nyarai Paweni. Have I pronounced that right, Nyarai?
Yes, Tanya. Hi.
And hi and welcome. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview with us.
I'm really excited, Tanya. Thank you so much for the honor.
Nyarai, let me just quickly read out your bio. Sorry, I can't memorize all of this.
I know.
So you studied at the National University of Health Science in Chicago, Illinois for four and a half years. Got a doctorate in naturopathy.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
You also have a BA Business Administration that you got in the Concordia College in Michigan. MSA Marketing and International Management, also in Michigan.
Yes.
And you also have studied a various variety of complementary health modalities, emotional code, stress management, meditation, EFT.
Yes.
Okay. And now you also run a organization, where you call it an organization called Sage Restorative Health, which is a holistic natural health practice grounded in naturopathic and integrative medicine. You offer holistic medicine services for the whole family that include botanical, herbal medicines, nutritional supplements, clinical nutrition, homeopathy, aromatherapy, home hydrotherapy, which is using water, lifestyle and stress management strategies, and detox programs, all personalized to meet your individual needs. Okay. Wow, that's a lot for us to get into today.
Yes.
So before we get into that, and I just also want to mention you're very involved in community projects as well.
Yes.
You have WIRED2love and the Thrive Trust, where you focus on mental wellness, offer mental wellness and personal development, workshops and seminars, currently offering free webinars with guest hosts. And under the umbrella of WIRED2love and Thrive, you have taken off the mask for men and taking off the veil for women.
Yes.
The goal is to provide safe and honest spaces for authentic discussing, offering in-person and online events. So, terrific. Can't wait to hear all about that as well.
Okay.
So before we get into any of that, please tell us, how was it? I mean, you're a doctor, you could have specialized in any field and you chose to become a alternative naturopath.
Yeah, so my journey to being a holistic doctor was kind of winded. Previous to that, I was an executive director for a nonprofit in Chicago for children with disabilities. So my background is in business and marketing. And midlife, I decided, to question what is my calling, what is my passion. I've always had a passion for helping people, and the work I was doing with people with disabilities was very fulfilling. But we did an exercise with some friends to say, what would you say to your 90-year-old self? And what would you do for free? And I had just started exploring natural medicine, and then I found out there were schools that you can go to. So I quit my job and went to medical school, which was big turnaround for me. So, but it's probably one of the best decisions I've made, because I love what I do.
How long were you living in America for then? Obviously you're there for a while.
For a long time. So I went to the Dominican convent in Harare, and then I went to school in Switzerland. So I finished high school there, American high school. Then I did a year and a half, because I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer. And then moved to the States, where I lived in Michigan. So most of my adult life has actually been in the US. So I just moved back to Zimbabwe in 2016. So.
Was there a reason for that, that you chose to come back here?
Yeah, I felt as if this type of medicine is essential here. I had a desire to come and be with my family, and also contribute to this beautiful place. I love Zimbabwe. I carried it with me. I always felt as if I was an ambassador wherever I went in the world, that, you know, Zimbabwe brought such delight to me. And so I wanted to just come back and support the things that are happening here. And I was delighted to come back and find so many amazing things happening here.
I know that is quite a thing, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the most unexpected place where you think you can find all these highly qualified people,
yes,
all doing these kind of works.
Yeah.
How well received was that within the community? Because obviously we have a lot of traditional beliefs as well, and how well did they accept that?
Initially, it was kind of challenging, and also finding where people were. You know, like in this, you know, in Chicago, you just Google and you find everyone. So I felt there was. Initially, I felt isolated. Like, where are these people? Where are like-minded people? And what happens is you meet one person, and then they introduce you to somebody else, and all of a sudden, my world opened up. You know, I think people didn't really understand what I did. They thought I was an herbalist, you know, but it's grown. The interest and people seeking me out or just seeking information has grown from 2016 to now, exponentially.
Yeah. And so you have a practice. Do you operate out of a certain place, or are you more mobile?
I'm in Newlands. I'm in a little lovely complex with some other shops, and there's a nursery, and there's a coffee shop, Elephant and Pineapple. There's Habitat, and a beautiful, beautiful garden. I mean, I continue to be grateful for this space that I'm in. And lovely little community here, and it's, you know, close proximity for people to get to. So it's in Newlands. It's at 15 York Avenue in Newlands.
Okay. Yeah, that is a lovely little complex. And so now somebody coming to see you would they, it could be anything. It could be emotional problem, physical problem, and then you obviously treat everything as a holistic experience.
Yes. So, you know, naturopathic medicine aims to get to the root cause of what's going on. And we're looking at body, mind, and spirit, you holistically. So if you tell me you have a headache, it's not just a symptom of the headache. I want to find out, you know, are there stresses in your life? What are you eating? How are you sleeping? How are you interacting with your world?
But I also, from what I understand, is that naturopaths are being more accepted in the world, because years ago it used to all fall under charlatans, didn't it?
Yeah.
Anybody who did anything complementary alternative with a charlatan. But I see now that there is even like a global body regulation for, well, I wouldn't say necessarily naturopathy on its own, but so it's becoming very globally recognized, isn't it?
Yes, and more integrative medicine, and what's also called functional medicine. So MDs who are now realizing that natural medicine has a place. You know, I really believe we should have options to all types of healing modalities.
And now we did interview John, and he told us about Zanap, which you're also involved with.
Yes, yeah. We're called, excuse me. Sorry about that.
So you are a co-worker with John on that.
Yes.
Let's just explain to everybody again what it is. And it's called the Association of Natural Healing Practitioners. Is that correct?
Yes. And the aim is, and we're under traditional, the TMPC, which is the government council that supports and regulates people in the alternative field. And what we wanted to make sure is not only is the practitioner protected, but also the public. And so no matter what modality, and what we didn't realize is the law protects anything that is alternative medicine. And so what we wanted to do is to build this community and to support each other, whether we do workshops, you know, we do refresher courses on standards of care. And we also then educate the public, because there's so much out there that, you know, you never know, is this for real? You know, like you're saying, you know, some far-fetched heat, you know, cures out there. But we really wanted to promote alternative practitioners. You know, there are different associations, but many of, you know, local practitioners don't fall under that, you know. So it was essential for us. We worked about a year on that with Katie and Dr. George Danda and John, and, you know, really happy about that. What we want to do now is grow the membership. We were doing every 3 months we were doing workshops. We want to do more of those, and to support each other. You know, people who are in growing food organically, because when you live holistically, it's not just the supplements, it's where's your food coming from, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. So, okay, well, that's something I'm rather hoping that we're going to see a quietening down, and I know everyone on the planet disagrees with me. But anyway, my take is that I'm really hoping towards the end of the year, we can organize some kind of, I don't want to call it an holistic fair, but some kind of gathering whereby people can introduce themselves. They can have stands. You know, if you go to, and I'm sure you have been to these conventions,
yes,
you know, all over the world, people have their goods, their stands, they're promoting themselves, what they do. And then also we have speakers. You know, so on every hour, you have a speaker. You know, and so you pay an entrance fee. You don't have to watch all the speakers if that's not your thing. But and then it will go on like that, and make it like a day event.
Yes, and I
So
think
I'm thinking November. I'm thinking in my head. I've put it out there. November is when we can get together and do something like that.
Great. I'm going to hold that vision with you. So I think I think it's important, right? So, you know, sometimes you don't know Tanya has these skills, and she, you know, these are the products that she have, because you know, you're doing it and you have your cluster of clients that come to you. But when we all come together and we realize we all have the same, what we all want is healing. We want well-being for ourselves and for others. And then we see our interconnectedness, which is powerful. Then that inspires me to be a better doctor, and inspires you to be a better healer, you know?
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, like I said, let's put that out there and see. But you know what the biggest problem is? Accessing, because I believe that there's a lot of people in Zimbabwe and the planet who are now ready for this information.
Yes.
Or they already interested, but they have no idea where to go and where to find us.
That's
so
true.
This is the biggest challenge, is getting to the greater population. I mean, how many million people do we have in Zimbabwe, for heaven's sake?
I know. And I think so. I think, you know, for me, I get that a lot. What's a naturopath? I've never heard of that. So when you educate, you empower and you inspire people, you know, and having an event like that will open the rest of our communities to know, wow, there are people here. They're not just people that we see on the internet or on the news.
That's correct. Yep. So, but you obviously are accessing quite a big, say, audience or community with these community projects that you're doing. This Wired to Love and Thrive Trust. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that was birthed this past February, and what we do is mental wellness events. We have local coaches. I mean, there's a plethora of amazing people in this country. And we did yoga, and we talked about dealing with trauma. We talked about how can you be your best self. We had somebody doing breathing exercises. And what we're really trying to do is, how can you be authentically powerful in living your life purpose? You know, there's so much noise out there. Our parents tell us things, our relatives tell us things, the world tells us how we should be, but what is really happening with you? And can we create spaces where you can have conversations about that, and then decide what you want to do and how you want to impact the world? So I'm really passionate about Wired to Love and Thrive, because we believe we are all wired for love, right? And we're all wired to thrive, and we just want to remind ourselves and each other about that. So right now we're doing online webinars.
Yeah, I've seen those I've seen them come up. I haven't actually been able to attend one.
Yeah, there's a lot of
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to watch your one with Anand Patel last night.
Oh, that was amazing! It was 2 hours.
I'm sure he is amazing.
He's
he
amazing.
is amazing.
Yes, yeah. We're gonna have
oh, so that's what I was going to ask you. So there will be recordings where we can go in and watch it afterwards.
Yes.
I had a virtual birthday party going on at 6 o'clock last night.
Ah, how cool is that?
I know. So I couldn't. So I couldn't watch that. So I was going to ask you. Let's get the recording, and then, I also find that there's a lot of competition for viewership time.
Yes.
With this online world, things are coming at us from so many different, and there's so many things that you want to watch and catch up on.
Yes,
but it's like a competition for people's time.
It is all of, there's a lot, and then we also have to consider, especially like in Zimbabwe, the cost of data. So then people have to determine what they're going to do. Are they going to spend their data on homeschooling, or but it's a real problem. Our data costs are really high, but we're really appreciative of the people that have joined in, but we're recording so that, if you're not able to jump on, you can watch it at another time.
How will we do that? How do we get that? Have you got a website, or how do we access those recordings?
Yeah, so we're working on our website, but we have a YouTube channel where we're going to post them. So we're in the midst of trying to edit all the different recordings.
That's great. That'll make it easy for everyone.
Yes, you can just go onto YouTube and watch that.
Okay, perfect. So now, you've given this a title, taking off the mask for men.
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? What is the concept?
So, the concept is we all put on a mask, to be accepted, or we feel that's the best way to be accepted in society. So when we have taken off the mask, we're asking you to remove that mask and be you, however that comes. And we will have a conversation with you in a non-judgmental space, because we believe conversation is the first step to healing, right? And you tell me your story, and I share mine, and I learn something new about you. And then I also realize we're interconnected. Your experience with your father, for example, might be the same as mine. And so there's nothing that now separates us. And I now have compassion for you. And I now understand how you are in the world. So, so it's really important for us to create spaces where people can come and talk. Maybe they don't have that at home. Maybe they don't have that at work.
But I'll tell you an interesting thing in all my years of seeing clients, because, I also had a sort of little practice going. I found that for men, women are a lot more complicated.
Yes.
This is not to say that they're cleverer, but men are a lot simpler. And I found that just by sitting and talking to somebody was healing for them.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go through all the other, the EFTs and the Reikis and all the other stuff. They could just sit and talk. They could make the shift, figure it out in their head, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, but for many, I think for many men, just the act of talking, though, hasn't been a muscle. It hasn't been something that they're really familiar with. Everything is bottled up. So initially it's warming up to, yes, I can have a conversation and it'll be okay. So that's the biggest hurdle is, convincing and letting people know, men know that, yes, you can talk. And what I'm actually finding that they also have complex issues and complex views of the world. I think for women, we're lucky is that we call somebody and chat and talk about it. And so we kind of sometimes offload some of those baggage.
Constantly.
Yes. Yes. And whereas men don't do that as often.
Yeah, that's true. I also feel, I have felt quite sorry for men in the last couple of years, with this whole Me Too movement.
Yes.
is that when any movement starts, it kind of explodes onto the scene, and it probably needs to do that to get the attention. Okay, so I mean, that was a very good thing, let's put it that way.
Yes.
However, I found that a lot of those women activists and feminists were awful. They were man haters, they were female chauvinists, and you know, and I really felt sorry for men at that point in time, because also it's also like this new world is judging everybody by new standards. The old world people are being judged by new world standards.
Yes.
All of a sudden. And what does a guy now do with that? Okay, I think that they've all opened their eyes and realized that there are boundaries now.
Yes.
You know, whereas maybe 10 years ago, even there weren't those boundaries.
Yes.
So, but I still think for a man, I think they find themselves in very tricky situations. They don't really know what they can do, what they can't do, what they can say, if they're allowed to touch your shoulder. You know, they're just a bit terrified at the moment.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that women have been empowered, but we haven't taught men how to deal with empowered women. So, you know, how can we work together and collaborate and be partners and not say this is this is male, right? Because all of us have male and female energy in us. You know, how can we teach each other to converse and still respect each other? You know, I think many a times, I think initially for, you know, with the Me Too movement, it was women saying, I've been abused and trodden on, and it, like you're saying, it just totally exploded. But we never have conversations about men who are abused by women, right? Even if those numbers are less, but there's that community. But the goal is, how can we partner? And how can we find each other's strengths?
And this is I think we're now where we're moving into. We've had the sort of out of balance, like that pendulum, the explosion, and it's kind of swinging now and leveling out into something more reasonable.
Yeah.
And maybe this is now a time where we can start having those conversations.
Yeah. I hope that happens.
Yeah. Well, and as you know, and I think every culture is different.
Yes. Yeah, and I think those are some of the issues we have with mental wellness, right? When you're instilled in your culture, like you know, in Shona culture, African culture, there are things that you're not supposed to say in front of men or whatever, and you know, you come with all of this stuff with you, and you know, in order to have an opportunity to take that off and say, this is me, this is John, this is what makes me happy, this is what makes me sad, is liberating. And, you know, freedom is all we all want freedom. And how, if we were all free and free to express without hurting somebody else, what a better world would be living in, right?
But do you not think that some of the stuff is generational? Do you not find that maybe younger generations are happier to break free from their traditions?
Yes, I think so. And I think many a times, you know, we learn from our parents learn from their grandparents how to discipline, how to do things. And so I see young people in millennials are like, no, that doesn't really work for me, you know? And so it's you know, redefining who you are. And I think for older generations, that's challenging. That's a difficult thing, especially if you have kids or, you know, employees that are of a different generation. All of a sudden they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're asking us to look at things from a different perspective. Yet what we've felt like this is the way it should be. They're challenging us, you know. Makes for
and then I imagine that these programs that you're running give those younger generations also a way, because it's very easy to say this doesn't suit me, but how do I change? How do I move forward in a different world?
Yes. Yeah. And what is so nice is we have all ages. So we have young people and, you know, older generations. So it's good to kind of have a conversation with both. I remember an incident in our women's group, and this older lady was remembering her mother at her age now, and she wished she could talk to her mother and say, please forgive me, because, her mother was slow. Her mother didn't hear well. And she's like, now my kids are treating me like I treated my mom. I'm not so fast on my phone, So I think when we allow each other to kind of hear each other, not just wait for our response, we can relate to each other better. So, after that conversation, I do hope the younger person was able to go home and have some compassion for their mother who's not tech savvy or something like that. But it's been so beautiful. Just we have no experts. We have people just talking and sharing. People come out of there transformed, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. To see somebody who comes and they either depressed or sad or insecure, and for them to say, I've decided I'm going to start my bakery company from home and bake cakes, and that's been my passion. And you change one life and you don't know the ripple effect it will have.
That's right. Yeah. Do you do any outreach programs? I mean, obviously you're based here in Harare.
Yes.
Do you do any sort of like go out into the community and have these things, or does that all now require funding?
I actually do it. I belong to a church in Greendale called St. Luke's Anglican Church, and since 2016, we've been doing a community outreach where we have, medical practitioners, lawyers, social workers, and people come for the day, typically on a Saturday, and we provide free services. We have Zumba dance, and last year we had so many people, we had to do it twice. It was like over 900 people showed up, and there's HIV testing, there's family planning conversations. One time we had a woman who spoke about breastfeeding and how important it is and how to do it. So yeah, I am a big believer in volunteering. So I'm also a member of the Zimbabwe Care Network. It's a bunch of really dedicated people who work with, disenfranchised communities, and I'm passionate about that. I think you have to pass it forward, whatever you have, Even in our women's group, we've got a couple of women, Tina and Fiona, who've taken it upon themselves to fundraise for families that have no food currently. So they do food packs, and they get donations from family and friends. And I've known a couple of people who've been in dire need, and they've helped them out. So yeah, it's a big part.
But another look, I think because our social services are really not up to speed. They're not really
there. Yeah.
So some of the orphanages that I'm involved with, I do find that it's the community that really props up the old people and the orphans.
Yep.
I find that the supermarkets are quite generous.
Okay.
Supermarkets are quite generous. If
wow.
they, So because I know that we have to provide the transport, but very often they will donate maize and things like that.
Wow, great. Yep. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
Tell Tina and Fiona.
Yes, I will.
to get onto them,
Yeah, I'll definitely.
And also they have that sort of social responsibility.
Yes.
Part of their mission statements that they have to do things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you ask, I find they always give.
Wow.
So
and
so this is also where we're very lucky, is that we have these. We realize we just have to rely on us to solve our problems.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true. I think I saw a beautiful example of that with, after the cyclone, and what Miracle Missions did, and all the people that came to donate. I took a couple of days off and went and helped sort things. I mean, my heart was just filled. I'm like, look at all these people. What did they, all they did. And Humani Mani is my original homestead. So that even made it
Mm.
touching. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
How do you advertise? How do you like these programs, Wired to Love and Thrive? How do you access people? You know, I mean, you're a
So,
marketing person.
yeah, sometimes it's hard to do it for yourself, right? Yeah, for my practice, actually, it was word of mouth and Zimbabwean. A few of my patients posted on their
Okay.
ask questions, so I use social media quite a bit, but a lot of it is word of mouth. And I also want to thank Katie Rose, who's owner of African Apothecary. She's my soul sister. She was so good in supporting my practice. She would recommend people and tell me, clients that she had who needed my care. And for the webinars, we do WhatsApp, we do social media. We're trying everything. We try it all.
Yeah, we have to try.
Yeah.
I know, we have to try all. Okay, so moving forward.
Yes.
Moving forward, obviously you already have, and I must say in the 4 years, I'm sure it was also Katie Rhodes, but others, but most people that I know,
Yes.
Dr. Nyarai, know you. They know you. I know this is the first time I'm meeting you, but I've known of you for a long, long time.
Wow.
The word of mouth has certainly worked.
Yes.
And yeah, so now moving forward, what is your vision?
Certainly to grow my practice. I also do telehealth with my patients that are in Chicago. So I do telehealth. I want to grow that. It was something that I was offering before, but with the current situation, it's become a necessity. The human body is such a fascinating machinery, and we're learning more. Even if we think about COVID currently, there's so much we need to learn. For me, learning more, educating more, expanding the reach of Wired to Love and Thrive, so that vision is get it all over Africa, right? And for me also to provide holistic medicine in other communities. That's been a vision for me, because I think over time we've gone away from our traditional foods and our traditional medicine. There's a wealth of healing plants that we've neglected. I mean, for me, it's been a learning experience in that respect, learning about local indigenous plants, which I didn't study, to kind of promote those and be a support of that.
Yeah. And well, look, I think with combined projects and collaborations,
yes,
we can probably do a good job at raising some awareness here.
Yeah, I'm really big on collaboration. I think we're all in it together to do things well together,
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
And anyway, so Dr. Nyarai, thank you so much. I'm going to have to wind up here because we're running out of time.
Wonderful. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for this honor. I do want to say, Sage Restorative Health was inspired by my parents, my mom and my dad, and my maternal grandmother, who I never met, but was a healer. And, they're the ones that inspired me, because when I thought I couldn't go to medical school, they said I could. And I did. So, but I really, I love being in Zimbabwe, because people have opened their arms, supported me, and I thank you for this opportunity, really.
Well, I think they open arms because you're bringing such a fantastic gift, to us, to the country. Wow. You are. So we thank you to you.
Yeah. And also,
and all I can say is, yeah.
And Del Smith was an amazing inspirator to me. And she actually lived in my neighborhood and didn't know she was there.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
How everything comes together in a web somehow.
Yes.
And it's stories like that make me think, well, we are all interconnected.
Yes.
There is some kind of divine intelligence running through everything. We've just got to try and connect to it, and then we find each other.
Yes, and just listen to that voice, and just have the courage to say yes to it.
Yeah. Have you got any special advice to give people right now during this time of crisis and COVID?
I think it's essential to take moments to breathe, to be grateful for life, to enjoy the sun, to enjoy your family. I think when we go back to the fundamentals of what is well-being, it's love, it's having, family and community, eating well, sleeping well. These are all essential. And I think when we do that and we slow down from the rat race.
Which we've had to.
Yeah. But, pause and figure out what life means to you and go for that. Because even without COVID, life is uncertain, right? Uncertainty is always there. So, and deal with one day at a time. You can't think too far ahead in some instances.
That is one thing I remember from Deepak Chopra's teachings, is that you're not living unless you're living in uncertainty.
Yeah.
According to him.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, all I can say is the very, very best of luck with your project. And let's hold it all in our awareness, and I'm sure everything will thrive. It will thrive.
Thank you.
I look forward to your YouTube channel opening up.
Wonderful.
So we can look at all of those talks that we've all missed somehow. And I'm going to put all of your links and contact details in the description at the bottom of this conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you and Antonella are doing.
Oh no, it's our honor to be doing that. So Dr. Nyarai, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And to everybody else, please let's try and access all the people in Zimbabwe. And I know it's boring, and I know I say this every time, but it is the truth. The only way we're going to contact those people that are looking for help and guidance and something different is through mediums like this, through programs like this, through Wired. So let us please, if you can do that, we'd very much appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nyarai, and till the next time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.